Okay, I want you to picture this. You're in a suite way up high in the Park Hyatt in New York City. The air's just thick with tension. It's September 2024.
And inside, you've got Sean Combs, Diddy, one of the biggest names in music. And he's pacing. He's convinced it's all about to fall apart.
He's on this frantic call with his legal team, and he just drops the act. He says to his lawyer, Mark Igniflo, "We are losing."
Just flat out says it. The public image, the legal fights, it's all slipping away.
And he's desperate. He's telling his lawyer to go find someone who deals in the dirtiest of dirtiest, dirty business of media and propaganda. He needs to change the story.
But here's the kicker, the really unbelievable part.
Yeah.
A camera is rolling on everything, capturing this whole incredibly sensitive legal strategy session.
And it's not a spy cam, it's not a rival, it's his camera for his personal archive.
A future documentary where he was supposed to be the hero.
And that footage, that intimate moment, didn't get out because of some sophisticated hack. It was exposed because of a failure so basic, so, frankly, cheap, that it became the weapon his biggest rival, 50 Cent, would use against him.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Today, we are really breaking down the unbelievable contractual collapse that put that footage at the center of the Netflix docuseries Sean Combs, The Reckoning.
Right. And our mission for you, listening, is to get past the headlines. We need to figure out why Diddy's claim that this was all stolen just doesn't hold up legally.
And how this material, his raw panic just days before his arrest, was actually a legally purchased scoop that came from just one colossal blunder.
This is the unedited story of his fall, told by his own camera.
Yeah, I have to understand, the content is why this mistake was so explosive. This footage from September 10th, 2024, it captures him at his absolute most vulnerable.
It creates this shocking contrast, the Diddy the world sees versus the man behind the scenes. We hear him admit, we are losing.
But it's more than just panic. He's actively trying to build a counterattack, demanding his team find a media warfare specialist.
Yeah, this wasn't just PR damage control. This was like war planning. He's thinking about how to influence future jurors on TikTok and Instagram.
And it gets worse. The footage shows him going beyond just strategy.
You're talking about the Dawn Richards situation?
Exactly. The former artist from Diddy Dirty Money. She files a sexual harassment lawsuit,
Right.
And the camera catches him coordinating a campaign to discredit her.
He says the gloves are off. We see him telling his own son, Justin, to dig up old clips of Richard praising him.
He's trying to get ahead of it, to poison the well on social media.
And he's calling in favors, begging another artist, Kalina Harper, to dispute the claims. Prosecutors later pointed to these calls as potential witness tampering.
All caught on his own camera. It's just incredible.
But I think the thing that really reveals the mindset, the thing that sticks with you, is the Harlem footage.
Oh, yeah. The hypocrisy is just off the charts. So he goes to his old neighborhood in Harlem, right? Shaking hands, smiling for the cameras, playing the hero who came back home.
The perfect photo op, connecting with his roots.
But the second he's back in that armored SUV,
the mask just drops completely. He's heard laughing about it, asking for hand sanitizer immediately.
and then he demands a bath with peroxide, so hot it would, in his words, cleanse him from being amongst the people.
It is just a stunning piece of self-sabotage, all recorded for his own archive.
Which brings us to the central question. How did this incredibly private, damning footage end up in a Netflix documentary produced by his arch nemesis? His team screamed it was stolen.
Right. They sent cease and desist letters, threatened this massive $1 billion lawsuit.
$1 billion.
But Netflix and the director, Alexandria Stapleton, they didn't even flinch. They just said, no, it was legally obtained and we have the rights.
So how is footage recorded by his own guy in his own hotel room, not his property, just feels like a huge miss?
It's not just a miss. It's a complete systemic failure. And when you look at what former associates, like publicist Rob Shooter, have said, a pattern emerges.
What's the pattern?
That Combs was notoriously cheap. He refused to use formal contracts, especially work-for-hire agreements, with his creative team. He just expected loyalty to be enough.
That is just astonishing negligence. With hundreds of millions of dollars at stake, you're not using contracts.
And it created the perfect legal loophole. Diddy's main videographer, Michael Oberlees, he later confirmed he didn't leak it.
Okay, so it wasn't him.
No. He said the footage was shot by a third party who covered for him for only 3 days where he was away.
A temp. A freelancer for 3 days.
Oh.
Wait, so you're telling me the temp owned the footage?
That is the absolute heart of the matter, yes. Under U.S. copyright law, it's pretty simple. If you hire a freelancer to create something, the copyright automatically belongs to the creator.
Not the person paying for it.
Not unless you have a written, signed work-for-hire agreement that explicitly transfers those rights over.
Let me get this straight. Even if Diddy's company paid that freelancer thousands of dollars for those 3 days.
It doesn't matter.
Without that one piece of paper.
The freelancers still legally owned every single second of footage they shot. The payment covers the time and labor, but the contract covers the ownership of the thing you create.
Wow.
So that freelancer walked away not with stolen goods, but with a legal, highly valuable asset. Raw tapes of Diddy's worst moments, and they were legally free to sell it.
To Netflix. And 50 Cent.
Exactly. It wasn't stolen, it was sold, all because of a missing signature.
The ultimate cheap mistake that led to potentially $1 billion problem. Okay, so after the docuseries airs, they threaten that huge lawsuit. Why did they never actually file it?
Because going to court would have been even more dangerous for them than just staying quiet. The first problem was their claim about attorney-client privilege.
Right. They argued that the camera caught protected legal conversations. That sounds like a pretty solid defense.
It would be, but that privilege depends on confidentiality. The second you have a non-essential third party in the room.
The videographer.
The videographer. He wasn't there to give legal advice. And even more, the whole point of filming was for a future public documentary. That intent to publish just shreds the claim of confidentiality.
So by trying to document his own story, he accidentally waived his legal protection for it.
That's what every legal analyst says. He chose narrative control over confidentiality, and it backfired spectacularly.
But the bigger threat, the one that probably really stopped them, was discovery. We hear that word a lot, but what does it actually mean here?
Discovery is, it's the phase of a lawsuit where both sides have to show their cards. You have to turn over everything: emails, texts, internal memos, and contracts.
Oh, let's see where this is going.
If Diddy's team sues Netflix, the first thing Netflix's lawyers would demand in discovery is the work-for-hire contract for that footage.
The contract that doesn't exist.
The contract that does not exist. So, to even proceed with the lawsuit, they'd have to legally admit, under oath, that their entire case was built on a lie. It would validate Netflix's defense on day one.
A total checkmate.
It gets even worse. Discovery would also give Netflix the right to depose that freelance videographer.
Oh, man.
And who knows what else that person saw or recorded in those 3 days. The risk of what else could come out was just way too high. The lawsuit was never real. It was PR.
And we can't ignore the man behind the curtain here, the executive producer, 50 Cent. Diddy's team called the whole thing a shameful hit piece.
And look, there's no love lost there. 50 Cent's motivation was certainly personal on some level.
But he had a counter-argument, right?
He did, and it was a smart one. He said his involvement wasn't just about their feud. He felt he had to do it because the rest of the hip-hop world was silent.
He argued that silence would be interpreted as the culture being fine with his behavior. So he positioned it as an act of accountability.
It's a brilliant move, really. It turns a personal vendetta into a moral crusade.
So when you step back and look at this whole thing, what's the real takeaway here?
It's that this wasn't some grand conspiracy. It wasn't a dramatic betrayal. It was a simple, catastrophic failure of basic business practice, intellectual property management.
All those years of running on handshakes and assumed loyalty.
It finally caught up to him. His own financial negligence created the perfect weapon for his enemy to legally buy and use against him.
The irony is just. It's overwhelming. The footage he shot to control his own narrative is the very thing that destroyed it. It became the most raw, unedited evidence against him.
And you saw how powerful his celebrity shield was. You had jurors in his criminal trial saying wild things. One guy thought the violent relationship with Cassie was normal because she kept coming back.
And another juror admitted she was magnetized by his celebrity.
Exactly. That's what this footage cut through. It showed the panic, the manipulation, the truth. Yeah. It was the moment. His obsession with documenting his life literally documented his own downfall.
All because he didn't sign a 3-day contract.
Probably the most expensive piece of paper he never signed.
You've been listening to The Deep Dive, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.